Very good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Elizabeth Kalmazol, and I'm the Community Manager at iTrain. So thank you all for joining today's iTrain IR 4.0 webinar course preview sessions on data science and Internet of Things. So a quick reminder before the start of the presentation, please make sure that your microphones are muted during the webinar, because we don't want to hear some background noises and things like that, so not to disturb the presenters. And if you have any questions for the speakers, you can write them in the question box, in the chat box that is on the right-hand side of the screen. And yeah, so all the questions will be answered after the presentations during the Q&A session. So we will have a presentation for data science, and after the data science presentation, we'll look through all the questions that have been sent through in, and within time limits, the presenters will make sure to answer all of them. So yeah, during the presentation, please do not choose the option to present now. And yeah, so I will briefly start about what is iTrain and yeah, and the agenda for today. So shortly after my presentation of iTrain, will be followed by a presentation on data science by Dr. Nicholas and Dr. Alvin. And at 10:45, hopefully we'll have the Q&A session. And at 11, we'll have an Internet of Things presentation by Wenjun, which is also going to be followed by the Q&A session. So what is iTrain? iTrain is supporting the digital transformation within Asia. We're the pioneers and leaders in tech learning, and at iTrain we believe in two core principles: the power of technology to shape the future and help us build a better world, and that love of learning is the source of human ingenuity and well-being. All our courses, most of our courses, are HRDF claimable. And so yeah, we're backed by government and academia, and our goal is to fast track Asian businesses with the latest technology applications and know-how. So the courses that we are providing at iTrain are on the fields of artificial intelligence, digital marketing, data science, Industry 4.0, mobile app development, fintech, cybersecurity, blockchain, etc. So these have been some of our clients that we have had the chance to empower their employees. And as you can see, they're across many different kind of strategic sectors, either in finance, technology, industry, and manufacturing. So the future is digital, and from creative arts to business to fundamental sciences, the future of every field has been revolutionized by the digital industry. And at iTrain, we know that for people to unlock this endless potential, we need to give them the keys, which is digital fluency. So today, you will learn more about how data science and how Internet of Things can help you unlock this potential. Yeah, thank you so much for listening to me. And now I will give the floor to Nicholas and Alvin to present on data science. Nicholas, the floor is yours. Nicholas, please unmute yourself.
Hello.
Hi, yes, we can hear you.
Good morning. Wait, let me set up my presentation. Wait, yeah. All right. So can you see my presentation?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for iTrain giving this opportunity. So my name is Dr. Nicholas. Okay, currently I'm serving as a lecturer at University Tun Hussein on Malaysia. I teach programming and also I get certified for data science analyst and engineer by Fusionex International. And I'm also co-author with Dr. Elvin on the books titled Programming for Beginners with Python. So basically, how do we use data science in my project? I use the data science in my project for leakage detection, more to engineering works. And also I work with Ministry of Higher Education to predict, to do some prediction modeling on the student capability acceptance rate to the university based on their course. Later I will describe what the projects that we currently do with GPT, and also I do sentiment analysis for user perception in market analysis. Okay, so basically the training fields that I do is for data science with visual programming. Okay, later I will discuss more about what is visual programming about. Okay, so we do also the machine learning with NIME, Python, and also Python 3. Yeah? All right, so let us brief. I would like to brief about the world of data. So due to the advancement of the technology, we found that data keep growing from day to day. Okay, we know that even from the social media sites, for example, Facebook, every second uh, people will post their message. Okay, and that data can be in the form of text, video, and also images. Okay, so this tremendous amount of data has been utilized by most of organization from raw, and they turn it into a value. Okay, so so this data come from multiple resources. As I mentioned before, they come from a social media site. Some of them come from a website, okay, and even in the company itself, they have their own data center, okay, to pull out our data from the internet. For example, if they have a good big data facility, so this can pull a lot of data. So from online transaction, we can see that almost every minute there are a lot number of online transactions they make. Okay, so and one of the things is also the Internet of Things. Okay, things are connected, right? So this produce a lot of log data that can be analyzed, can be transformed into a valuable information. Okay, and the social media itself. Right, so we can see here in every minute statistic in 2019, okay, about 1 million videos being posted, okay, for every minute in the day, the average video posted. And we can see that the Twitters, okay, we can see about 500,000 tweets been made for a minute, right? And about 18 millions, 188 millions email are sent in every minute. So this amount of data is keep growing day by day. So I'm not sure in 2020, it can be double from what we have seen now. Okay, so what is the data science? So it is study, okay, it's the field to study about this data. So they include multiple domain of knowledge, including the mathematics and statistics, computer programming, the analytic skills, visualization, and business communication. So there are 4 spectrum in data science. Okay, when we want to deal with data, so they always involved with these 4 spectrum. And the first is the descriptive analytics. Okay, and the descriptive analytics, we always ask about what happened to my business. Okay, what happened to our sales this month? So who are our customer? Okay, the customer is come from which about a range of age, right? Who are there, more female or more males? Okay, and then how many people buy item A? So it can tell about the popularity of the item. So basically, this initiate the question. Okay, and we will study more on this by including all the statistical measure, okay, the exploratory analysis in this descriptive analytics. Okay, after we done that, then we go for diagnostic. Okay, so we need to study. We go deeper. Okay, by asking why does it happen? What caused the cell to drop? So this kind of question asking us, okay, to get more deeper on the insights value into the data. And then we also need to have a predictive analytics, okay? So it tells us what might happen in the future, okay? What the trend would be, okay? If my sales, if I increase my budget, marketing budget, all right? So these are kind of questions that can be raised. And the last one will be the prescriptive analytics, okay? So it's more to the decision making, okay? For example, it involves the top management in the company, okay? The strategies, okay? So how to make this happen, okay? So for example, if there is a problem, so how to make sure that it can be solved, what the possible solution that can be made to that particular problem, okay? So for example, another one is what is the perfect value of discount for product A to increase its sales while retaining a high profit, okay? So these are the advantages, okay? From that spectrum, okay, we can see that the goal is to make the profit more, okay? To maximize the profit, okay, by applying the right strategy and approach that can minimize the loss and maximize the profit. Second is to create new innovation, okay. We see that more people, more organizations utilize the data, okay, and from that data they innovate new products, a new service. For example, the Grab car, okay, the Grab car utilize the data, okay, of the people, okay, the data of the current traffic situation. So they turn that into a value that deliver the message to the user, okay, so the Google Map, for example, right? And also to improve the services, okay? So the goal is to increase the customer satisfaction and experience. Later we will see how this data science can help some organization to improve their service, to make their customer more happy, right? And help to make a fast and better decision, okay? So data science give us the insights, give us the information, so we can utilize these tools to analyze this information more faster and more accurate. Okay. So if we take a look into Amazon, okay, what actually done by the Amazon, I think all of us familiar with this company, okay? So they use what we call as a recommendation-based system, okay, to predict the customer needs and behavior. So there might be, okay, the accuracy of the model, okay, in 2011, if I'm not mistaken, okay. So they managed to, they are a group of peoples, okay, they do that can improve the way they make a business, okay, by using a recommendation system. So this used to predict the rating and preference to user by using the item. Okay. For example, if let's say I purchase these books, okay, I purchase this book, or maybe I viewing this book in the website, okay. So they might, okay, they also suggest me to buy all these books, okay. Maybe I'm not buying the first book, but they give me the recommendation, okay, the almost similar or with almost similar value, almost similar, okay, title related for the first books. So about 30% of the revenue generated, okay, the sales is through a recommendation engine, right? So we also can take a look into a Netflix. So about 80% of the movie watches are based on also the recommendation system. And we know that these recommendation systems are driven by AI or machine learning. Okay, machine learning is a part of AI that help us to predict, okay, the future event. For example, in this case, the recommendation predict the future behavior of the user, right? So for example, if I watch this movie previously, so at the end they will suggest me, okay, there is a high possibility that I would like this movie to be watched later. And also we take a look into a GPS system, okay. So this is very interesting technology. It's a very simple, but we can see the impact, how they can utilize the data science into the innovation of the products. For example, okay, this is traditional. I think maybe 20 years ago, we are using a manual maps, okay? So we read it, we bring a paper map, okay? Then we find the location, and it's very difficult, okay? And when the growth of the digital technology, okay, we have the knowledge in programming, we have a microprocessor that can make the device can be whole, okay, can be mobile. So they create the GPS, okay, the device GPS system, the GPS device. All right. By the way, okay, we can only know the information, okay, how to get there. Okay, we don't know the information about the traffic. So the data science, okay, the AI, the presence of the AI, okay, the machine learning, okay, transform the way we see the maps. Okay, the maps, for example, the Google Maps give us more information, the traffic condition. If the AI itself, okay, give us recommendation, which route should we take, okay, to get more faster, okay, even give us the ETA, okay, the arrival time of the ETA, the estimation time of arrival to the place. So these are very informative. Okay, this how they can use the data science for their innovation. Okay, and also in the Grab car. Okay, so Grab car, okay, they have, okay, they change the way people tax public transport. Okay, for example, previously we have taxi, but nowadays we just use the app, and it helps people not only to increase this customer service, and it helps others to for example job making opportunities. So this is very interesting way. So they can save almost 80% of waiting and searching time. Okay, if they want to use the public transport, right? So who are the one that deal with this? So they are called as a data scientist. Okay, it is a profession who works with data in relevant fields, okay, domain industry. For example, in finance, okay, data scientists that working with the data related with the financial, okay. For example, and for in manufacturing, they can be data scientists deal with the manufacturing data. So they help to improvise and optimize the system, okay, the system, how to get more production, okay, reduce the waste. So these are kind of example of the domain. So, and also they are the analytical expert with analytical thinking, with a technical skill that they can use to solve the problem. So it also with the mind of curiosity to explore more what problem need to be solved. Okay, so how we can solve it. Okay, they can identify the problem by analyzing the data. Okay, the irregularity of the data, okay, give some insight that help them to identify the problem and may offer some solution. Okay, so are you interested to be part of the data science teams? It may not be easy. So let's take a look. Okay, what might be the challenges? Okay, so we know that the demands, the needs and the demand of data science, okay, keep increasing from day to day. Okay, this is because people utilize their data. Okay, so the data is keep growing. Okay, so for example, in finance, 59% of finance and accounting professional say that 21% is that by 2020, okay, they will be required in the industry. So it transforms the way accountant works. Okay, from a traditional accountant, they need to upskill into a data scientist, the data analyst for the financial field. Okay. Okay, and one of the main challenges, okay, experienced by the professionals, by the individual, by the seniors, is to learn of writing a programming code. Okay, for example, if we want to do the machine learning, okay, predictive analytics, so we need to write a program. Okay, and it's not easy for someone who has no or little programming knowledge and experience, right? And what we offer here, okay, we have innovative data science module. So we are using a visual programming approach, right? So all these data science is a complete course, okay, including from machine learning, data analytics, mathematics, and visual programming, okay. So in our course, we don't use coding, okay, no coding required. Okay, we use an open source, okay, very powerful open source NIME analytic platform software to develop a machine learning algorithm. And the third is we use the advanced Microsoft Power BI. Okay, this will be explained further by Dr. Elvin. Okay, for data analytics and visualization. So I would like to talk on machine learning and visual programming. Yeah? So this example of the differences between the conventional coding and also visual programming. So you can see that it's more interactive if we can make a visual programming. Okay, it's more easy to understand. Okay, less works on writing the program. Okay, because if we start our journey in data science, sometimes people invest a lot of time to learn programming. But the core value of data science is to extract the information, okay, as much as we can, as accurate as we can. So no matter what the tools that we use, as long as we can extract the exact information, okay, so it can deliver a good understanding on the data and the accuracy of the data, right? So why we use a visual programming? So we only apply drag and drop approach. There will be no coding required to convert to do this visual programming. Okay, so as I said before, no need to write a code, okay, using any specific programming language. For nowadays, there is one very popular language that we use. Even we also use that. Okay, actually, some of my works I use Python, Python programming. Okay, even we teach Python, right? So let me show. Even we make books on the Python here, right? So we use this, okay, to write the programming code there. Okay, and it also, by using a visual programming, it will less of error and fast executing for the algorithm. So we have a lot of times, we can spend more time on making the program, making the algorithm more better. So if we are using a traditional programming for someone that very new, okay, they will spend a lot of time to learn the programming itself, okay, but very less time will be on the how to make the model become more better. Right. So what are the tools that we use? We call it NIME analytic platforms. Okay, it is an open source visual programming tools. Okay, codeless approach of performing programming tasks. Okay, so basically we use it in data analytics, manipulation, and visualization, and also the reporting. However, okay, for the reporting, we prefer to use the Microsoft Power BI. So these are examples of machine learning workflow that we conduct using NIME analytics. Okay, so for example, we can see this is we do using a logistic regression, okay, logistic regression model algorithm to train the model to predict, okay, to predict, in this case we predict the churn, okay, the churn status of the new coming user, right? And also this one is also we use a k nearest neighbor. Okay, another algorithm that can be also used as part of the classification problem. Okay, so this is our module. Okay, our main intention is, okay, in our programming course, our main intention is to help our trainee to understand the concept and workflow of the field in data science. So by applying this, by joining this course, they're also able to apply the mathematics and statistic principle for the data science in data exploration. Okay, so they also can perform a data preparation on the real data set. okay, and also they get the knowledge how to use NIME and also Microsoft Power BI for predictive modeling and business intelligence. So the day one, basically we're focusing on the NIME visual programming. Day two is mathematics and statistics for exploratory data analysis. Okay, and the third one is machine learning. Okay, machine learning, we are using a NIME to perform all this machine learning workflow. And the last one is business intelligence by using the Microsoft Power BI. Okay, this is example, the detail, okay, in our course outline, right? I'm not going to all these one by one, okay? Okay, so I would like to share some example, some projects that we already done with Ministry of Higher Education before, okay? We want to build, the first is we want to build a prediction model, okay? To predict the student placement rate, acceptance rates to their selection academic program offered by the Higher Learning Institute after their SPM. So basically the traditional approach, okay, the model that we have, okay, the students, okay, log in into the system and they will see what are the programs that they can apply for, okay, based on their previous, whether they are science side or the literature, okay, so they see what the program that they are eligible to apply. So after they do the application, then they need to wait for the result, okay. So what is lack, okay, there is a lack of information we give to the students. For example, they don't have any ideas, the chances of their being accepted for selected program. Of course, in their SPM result, they may, okay, they may fulfill the minimum requirement. By the way, some institutions, even they offer the same course, the same academic program. By the way, they may have some, what we call some restriction, okay? Because, for example, the number of intake they took every year is different compared to other university, okay? So these are the variables that we need to consider to give, that they need to know, okay? They need to know before they can apply, okay? So there is no statistics of the acceptance. So what we can do, okay? So we apply the machine learning approach. So this is the, what we call the, in general, this is in general, I couldn't give information more on this, okay, because there is another detailed algorithm that we apply into the system, right? So these are basically the variables, okay, some of the variables that we use to predict, okay, the student's acceptance rate, okay. So, okay, this is the overall algorithm, okay, in general also. We train about, okay, this is a small portion, small samples that we took, okay, 98,000. There is a batch, we do it batch by batch, okay. So to ensure that we achieve the performance that we targeted for, right? So these are example of visual programming tools, okay. So these tools, okay, there is another tools for the visual programming, we call it a rapid miner. So this is a rapid miner. So it's similar to the NIME, but the differences is we need to pay for the rapid miner. So in terms of performance, in terms of usability, I think both are similar, okay. So NIME Analytics gives more advantage because it's open source, okay, and it's free to use, okay. There is no restriction, okay, for the NIME, number of data, number of rows, so there is no restriction on that, okay. So for example, this is the final goal, a final result that we obtained, okay. We found that sorry, I use the Bahasa Melayu here, okay, because some of the report that we use in Bahasa Melayu, okay, in Malay language, okay. So the accuracy of our model is achieved 77%. So it's depend, okay, how good is it for us? This is considered acceptance, okay. We can accept this accuracy, right? And then we also need to interpret what it means by the class precision, okay. There is okay, there is, okay, we can see it's quite balanced here. Means that when the students predicted to be accepted, so there is 77% that the student will be accepted. Okay, but when the students predicted not accepted, it's about 76%. So the differences is not that big. So we can accept this model. Okay. So actually there are a few runs. So this is the second run. Okay. We found which is the optimum results that we can obtain. Okay, so this example, okay, we can see that when we measure the performance using the test data set, okay, we can see that this is the actual status, okay, accepted, and we can see the predicted, okay, also been accepted. But of course, in some cases, we'll take a look. Okay, for example, this thing, okay, so this might be the error in prediction, okay. So that's why these things that cause the affect the accuracy of the model, okay. So we use the probability here. Okay, so for example, if accepted and predicted accepted about 71%, okay, it will be predicted accepted. So that's why the model will predict to be accepted. Okay. So these are at the end, we need to translate that information. Okay, we cannot give the raw information. Okay, we need to translate it into a norm, into what we call as into a more readable message. Okay, so we can, instead of giving just the okay just to apply, but now we can come up with the acceptance rate. Okay, how many percent if they want to apply for civil engineering in UTM? Okay, of course there will be no 100% to be accepted, because the other variable can affect that result. Okay, so we also use to analyze the churn. Okay, so this is by data by the telecommunication company. So from this a lot amount of data, we use the machine learning to predict the churn probability of new customer. Okay, what are the characteristics of that customer? So we use NIME here. So for example, this is the overall workflow. Okay, so we use a decision tree algorithm to train the model. Okay, and then to predict the churn analysis. Okay, so we found that the accuracy is up to 93%. By the way, when we go to the class recall, a class precision here, so there is a little bit different here. So we need to do something, okay? Need to do something by adjusting the configuration of the parameters, okay, to make sure this is almost balanced, okay? And we also do the customer segmentation. Okay, for example, we have these cluster data. Okay, we need to do the clustering model, okay, to identify where is our customer, okay, to segment our customer, right? For example, the cluster 1 is a group that are satisfied with the shopping experience and loyal with the product. And 0 may be a customer that are not happy, but they still love the brand, okay? So the customer 2 will be roamers, okay, that is satisfied with the shopping, but they are not loyal to the products. So the last one is the group that are not satisfied and not loyal. So we need to know, okay, this is where we apply the prescriptive analytics. So we need to provide a strategic action and communication, okay. How can we turn the customer, how we can improve the satisfaction index of the customer 0, okay, and how to retain the customer 1, okay, so that they still satisfied, okay, they love our products, okay. And in cluster 3, okay, we can offer a membership program, for example, to improve their loyalty, okay. So we offer this loyalty program, okay, providing the discount offer. So these are strategy and strategic communication that they can use. All right, so I pass to Dr. Elvin. Okay, Dr. Elvin, maybe this is your time. Yeah, later I will continue again. Yeah. Bye.
Okay, hello. Morning. Hold on a minute. Let me. Okay, can you see my slides?
No, not yet. We can see your folder.
Okay, hold on. Let me. Okay, is that okay?
Okay.
Okay. So good morning. Okay, morning. Following from Nicholas' presentation, okay, I would like to talk a little bit about business intelligence and how we use it using Power BI. Okay, let me introduce myself. I am Alvin. I'm also a lecturer in University Tun Hussein on Malaysia. And my training fields will be more to business intelligence using Power BI. I'm also known for programming, okay, with using Python 3. Some of the data science project that I'm involved with is using analytics dashboard for the Ministry of Education using Power BI. Okay, so I'm also involved in producing dashboards for our faculties on some of the objective-based education reports in our faculty. So first, I would like to tell you what is business intelligence. Okay, so business intelligence is the process. Okay, so process of getting data, okay, and delivering reliable and relevant information. So to take this information and give it to the right people at the right time, and with the goal to achieve better decisions faster. So what does it do? So it focuses primarily on analysis and reporting on past historical data. So we take past historical data and we quantify its observations. So we take it and we quantify it. And lastly, we examine to measure the insights. Okay, so we analyze it. And most important is to make data-driven decisions. Okay, so we need to make decisions according to the past historical data. Business intelligence is used more in performance management, in descriptive analytics, and also in data mining. And here we can see there's a difference between business intelligence and business analytics. So BI, okay, we call it BI, is business intelligence. It is reactive, where it focuses on data from the past and present data. Okay, it provides understanding of past performance, and it uses in decision making. Okay, for business analytics, it is proactive. It focuses on the future. It is used to predict trends and to discover patterns. So BI is the monitoring and tracking of metrics and data to help improve business decisions. So it is related by where BI is used the data to predict trends and potential outcomes. So why business intelligence is needed? Okay, it's needed because it improves the organization's competitive positioning. It examines competitors, shows data trends, the seasonality, and quickly identify issues for best practices. What are the significant advantages? Significant advantages when making strategic decisions. This enables organizations to have anytime access to organized data. Organizations or companies can identify inefficient business processes and hidden patterns, and also identify areas of strength and weakness, and also discover new opportunities that can occur during your business activities. So who benefits? Companies that make use of BI, for example, you can see Google, supermarkets like Target, Netflix, and also Facebook. Okay, let me give you an example. Okay, take a look at a supermarket or a retail store, for example, such as Aeon or Tesco or other things. Okay, so all the time when you go to certain supermarkets, if for instance Aeon, they give you membership cards. Okay, membership cards or loyalty cards. Okay, so this gives you the this gives you opportunity to either shop online, and when you shop online, you give your data to them. Okay, you have your username, your password. So when you swipe your card at the cashier, the card associates everything to the customer's buy-in and in-store and online. Okay, because it has a unique account number. This data is stored in the organization's database. So the organization or the company has the opportunity to store this massive amount of customer information. Okay, and the organization have the ability to run analytical reports, which can enable to show how loyal the customers are to a brand, what products customers buy, and how frequently they buy it. So if the customers have the preference of visiting the store or buying from the things online. Okay, so this all of information we can access and analyze it through a dashboard such as like this. Okay, so this is produced from a Power BI dashboard. Okay, so we can analyze and study the trend and patterns on how a customer or how a single branch of a supermarket could sales in a day or in a month. Okay, so from that, it gives the ability to understand or even predict an individual customer or segment based on their needs, preferences, and also their habits in buying things in the store. So this gives an advantage to the store to anticipate new opportunities to sell, deliver better services, and provide target market campaigns. So target market campaigns are where, okay, for example, if you go to, for example, when you buy some things, they give you some certain gift vouchers. Okay, why? Because they have your data and they use it to lure you to buy more things. Okay, sometimes you get discounts on specific products that you often buy in the supermarket. Okay, and most of the time, all of us gets this announcements of sale through emails and SMS. Okay, you get it where you, for example, you buy things, certain things, they give you discounts on certain items. Okay, all of this because it is referred to your past behavior on your buying behavior. Okay, so as a summary, the store or the company can have a benefit to increase the sales, differentiate brands by providing better unique services. Okay, another example I can share to you is for our project that we did with the Ministry of Education, okay, on the enrollment system. So we get this project to study patterns of student intake or student enrollment and how it impacts the students. Okay, so we can see there, we focus on the type of program enrolled by students. Okay, what are the programs that students take the most? So this can be seen as, okay, for example, we have the highest amount of students applying these certain courses. So if we click this course, we can able to see what universities offers them and how we predict the trend. For example, the past 5 years, the trend increases, and also we can forecast what is the trend in the next 5 to 10 years. So this will help to have a better decision where we can, if the enrollment increases, what we need to do, we need to open more universities to offer programs such as this, and maybe to reduce the intake, or to have this decision, to produce this decision and able to come up with certain problem-solving techniques. Okay, so this is the example that the project that we've done. So how business intelligence is presented is by creating dashboards such as this. Okay, it's important is to measure the decisions and effectiveness. So to create this, we use Microsoft Power BI. Microsoft Power BI is a free open source software offered by Microsoft. It is free and it is easy to use. The advantage of using this is to produce visualization. Okay, stunning visualization reports can be produced where interactive data visuals are shown. it is easy to use. It can tell you the data story using drag and drop canvas. Okay, so we just need to drag our data into the graphs. Okay, and automatically produce figures and graphs and tables easily. So this is the tools in the Power BI software. Okay, there are a lot of tools where we can use. For example, we can install Power BI desktop. Okay, this is the free Power BI desktop. We can install in our computer. We can also use this Power BI services, its cloud services, and also there's a Power BI mobile app. And also there's Power BI for developers. Okay, so we'll be focusing more to these two things, which Power BI desktop and its Power BI services. Okay. So for the Power BI desktop, we can see the workflow here. Okay, the first part is for data preparation. Okay, data is something messy. We need to clean the data and prepare the data, which is called query editor in the Power BI desktop. Okay. After that, let's say we have a lot of data. We need to combine all of this data. This is called data modeling. Okay, and we need to have a relationship within each data that we compile. Okay. So this is called data modeling. And lastly, when we clean the data and we compile the data, we need to do visualization. Okay, visualization is the report view, which is also called dashboards. So we will teach you and give you a procedure on how to use the Power BI software. So this is an interface. We teach you each interface and what does it do and how we can produce the visualization. For Power BI services online, we can see on how to share your data, on how to publish report and dashboards, share your work for the whole company, and also we can access your work anytime and anywhere. For a course, we'll give you also practical case studies in the course. Okay, for example, loan status, visualization for car sales. Okay, so real life situation here, and also online store sales dashboard and how we can provide data analytic thinking. Okay, so thank you very much. I'll pass the presentation back to Nicholas.
So I will continue a bit more. Okay. Okay, so what are the skills that we gain after the completion of our course? Okay, the first you will have the fundamental, okay, the overall concept of how to apply the mathematical and statistical concept and the theory in data analytics. For the data exploration, data mining. Second, you will apply 4 domain analytic spectrum, okay, from descriptive, diagnostic, predictive, and prescriptive analytics. Okay. The third one, you will have a skills to use tools, okay, for a machine learning, okay, using a NIME analytic platform. And the last one, you will have a skill of using a Power BI to develop a business intelligence dashboard. Okay, so we are using a high practical and high quality hands-on, okay, for the different field. Okay, for example, accounting, banking, and finance, cyber security, marketing and sales, and also the recommender system. Okay, so the target audience, okay, we leverage our audience into a senior managers, okay, the finance, accountant, and banking professional. It is also suitable for researcher and academician, engineers, IT professionals, and students and graduates. Okay, so there are a lot of career opportunity that you can go further after you have been this kind of skill, including the data scientist, data science consultant, okay, the machine learning engineer, and BI developers. Right. So one of the things, there are 3 value propositions that we will offer for our trainee. Okay, the first, we will give them a structured curriculum for a real business application. Okay, a practical case study with a real project for specific niche industry. And the third one is to help the audience to build their portfolio through a case study and our assessment. Okay, so we also provide the a la carte course, okay, okay, for specific for machine learning and also the business intelligence with Power BI. So that's all from our presentation. So we open for Q&A session. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Nicholas, and thank you, Dr. Alvin, for the presentation. So we've received one question during in the chat box during the presentation. So the question is NIME or visually programming widely used locally?
Okay, so for that question, is NIME or visually programming widely used locally? Yes, okay. Okay, if you go to the website, right? If you go to the website and if you follow their Twitters and also their LinkedIn, okay, there is a lot of developers, okay. For example, the nodes, they keep updating the technology from days to days, okay, and even so nowadays it's become more popular. It's another language, okay, another language in programming that usually they use to help professional who have no programming background. Okay, that is my answer for that. So widely used locally. Okay, for the time being, in Malaysia, maybe it's not that yet popular yet, but in some developing country, and even I also work with some Singaporean training center, they already start to use this software. Okay, because it is user friendly and it's a free. Okay, one of the most important. It's like a Python. Okay, Python is a free. So this is NIME targeting for a visual programming. So that's my response. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your answer. The next question is, what is the difference between different accounting softwares versus business intelligence in the market that is provided?
Okay, so what kind of accounting software is that? So BI, so BI is a tool. Okay, so it's a visualization tool actually. Okay, like I seen here, there are few types of visualization tools you can use, like W or Instant BI, like you mentioned here. Someone mentioned. But for business intelligence, Power BI is a free software which anyone can use it. Okay, so yeah, I think that's the answer.
Okay, thank you for your answer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, another question from Peggy Ting is that business intelligence tools have an amazing layout, but oh, that's a suggestion from her. So from Prima, after creating your visual programming, how much more programming must be done to tweak the output?
Okay, so after creating your visual programming, how much more programming? Okay, so in this case, what we do basically, okay, after, for example, I show you some of the flow, right? So the overall of the flow, it depends on the problem also, okay? Because for example, in this case, you can see in the slide, in this case, we built a machine learning model, okay, to come out with for example, we analyze the churn activity of the customer, okay? So what the things that we need to do is, if let's say the model doesn't meet the requirement, okay, so we need to do something with the data, okay? For example, the performance doesn't meet our requirement. So we need to do something, okay? We need to study more about the data, obtain the data more, or amplify, okay? There is some other methods we call it smooth algorithm, right? So that we can improvise, we can make the data more better, okay? So these are basically the things that we do. So for example, and also, wait, yeah. Okay. So you also asked about how much more programming. So in terms of programming, there is no coding required to do here. So that is what the things that I can answer for that question. Okay.
Okay, that was the last question towards Dr. Nicholas and Dr. Alvin. And in regards to the trainings and the courses, so at the moment we have a promotion that all iTrain courses, which are happening in May, have a 30% discount if you sign up by 31st of March. And you can see the full list of all the courses at www.itrain.com.mi. And also you can send all your inquiries to info@itrain.com.mi. And yes, I see that some more questions. Oh, yes, there's one more question.
Yes.
So for non-technical or business managers, can we pick up Python skills easily?
Okay, so I would like to answer the question. Actually, I just want to type it. Okay, okay, for non-technical or business manager, so that's why one of the approach, okay, that we introduce is using visual programming. But if they still want to learn the Python, okay, it's not that difficult. Okay, basically, the things that we plan is we use Python for data analytics. Okay, so Python for data analytics means that you learn the Python, the basic concept of the Python. Okay, it may take about 1 or 2 days, and 2 days normally, the basic concept of the Python. Okay, because we will teach you the basic of programming and how to use the Python to write the code. Okay, and the third and the fourth day is basically focus how to processing the data. Okay, it's not that difficult. Okay, the first thing is to understand the concept. Okay, the first thing is to understand some of the keywords, some of the how to utilize the variables, how to use this library. Okay, that is the most important things. Okay, by the way, there is a standard flow after you build that algorithm. So, for example, if let's say you want to apply it in other specific cases, so you can use that algorithm again. Okay, so that doesn't necessarily we need to retype all those things from the beginning. So that's why after you understand to build your own algorithm, then you just apply it for another case study. But of course, some of the keywords is not remember. Yeah, but if you train and train, of course, from day to day, you will get familiar with it. Okay. So basically, you can, if you want to learn the fundamental, okay, we publish one book, okay, in the Amazon, okay. So it's already available in the Amazon, and also you can directly purchase from me. Okay, so that is basically the things. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you for your answer. Another question that came in is whether a data scientist needs to have specific knowledge on each project. For example, if the data scientist is analyzing a farm, does he or she need to understand what the farmer has to do to better analyze and propose solutions?
Excuse me, can you repeat again? Yes, sorry.
Yeah, of course. So, does a data scientist need to have specific knowledge on each project? For example, if the data scientist is analyzing a farm, does the scientist need to understand what a farmer does to have a better analysis and to propose the solutions?
Okay, so that's why in our program we emphasize, okay, after you have obtained all these specific skills, okay, you are not exactly, we cannot call you as a data scientist unless you have a specific domain of knowledge. For example, in the farming itself, right? So if that guy have a good understanding, okay, so it helps a lot, okay, for example, from the data, they can identify the irregularity of the data. They can analyze the problem, they can identify through that data itself. Okay, if let's say someone that from other knowledge, background knowledge, then they try to understand in engineering. It may be difficult for them because they don't understand the concept of engineering. So that's why the things that we emphasize, okay, during the training course is to induce the way of thinking, the way of analytic thinking, how to use tools, okay, the technical tools, technical skills, and we try to make to open the mind of our trainer in every area of the situation. So that is the things that we suggest. So because the data scientist is a long journey, okay. For example, when we involve in education, so most of our project is they are now we have three. Okay, finance because we do some project some marketing company and also finance company, banking. Okay, so we already familiar with the concept, with all those things. And second, engineering is our main topics, like civil engineering. If mechanical, we may not really that understand, but for civil, yes, something that within our field. And the third one in education, yeah, the prediction model that I already told you. So we learned that through a kind of very long process. We need to have experience on that. So that is the domain of the knowledge. Yes, that's my response on that.
Okay, thank you very much for your answers. We'll need to move on shortly to the Internet of Things presentation by Wenjun. And yes, so a couple of questions in regards to the courses. So we'll be having the course on CDSS hopefully in May, and it will be provided both online and hopefully in class if the movement restriction order will be ended by then. And so the courses can be conducted both publicly and in-house for the companies. So yeah, a reminder, if you have any specific questions, you can always send the questions to info@itrain.com.mi. So now I will give the floor to Wenjun. And yeah, so we'll have a session on Internet of Things. And after this, another Q&A session. So I give the floor to Wenjun.